I'm a former EMT, and I have a daughter, and I didn't know anybody at that time except for one of the pool store owners who had lost a child to drowning. But I just couldn't imagine, as being a parent, how devastating that would be. To have you build a pool in your backyard for your family to spend quality time in with friends and other family members, and to have one of your children to lose one of them in a swimming pool is just got to be gut-wrenching. There's just too many people who just don't. They just think it's not going to happen to me. We'll always watch our kids, but yet you hear stories, and it happens all the time, about how there's a party in the backyard, and a child nearly drowns in the pool because all of a sudden nobody's watching the pool, and yet all of a sudden there's a child in the pool and nobody realizes it. Business that's very rewarding because you are saving children's lives. Somewhat unfortunately, you rarely will get a thank you, because you never know whose child's life you saved, because if they can't get through that fence, you don't know whether or not they've possibly drowned or not. So I'm thankful for that we don't hear those stories. But at the same time, it's rewarding because when you leave the site, first of all, the job is done. You can look at it and say, I did that really well. Boy, that came out great. And that gives you a feeling of personal satisfaction. And then when you walk away from there, you also know that, hey, at least those kids are safe. And then you just, you move on to the next one. I like the fact that every job is different. We've had some opportunities to do some really cool jobs where you go, up and down steps, and you go across the beach fronts, in certain homes in certain areas where it's a real challenge to figure out how you're going to get a baby fence across there and how it's going to get used. So every job is different. It's just not, going out there and drilling holes in a concrete deck and putting the fence up. It's not like that. There's a lot of imagination and a lot of thought that has to go into where you're going to set the fence up so that it works properly for people. I think that anybody who's building a swimming pool needs to be concerned about the safety of not only their own children, but also friends, neighbors, and other families who might come to visit. Because that's something that I try and bring to mind for everybody, because you never know. We didn't build our pool until my daughter was 9 years old, but we still had friends who had 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So we still put a fence up around the pool, just so that we would have it, when friends came over with the younger kids. At least we can put it back up again in a few minutes. It's there to prevent your children from drowning. And in 5 or 6 or 7 years, you can take that thing down and voila, it looks like you have a whole new backyard without even spending any extra money.